Hi everyone, welcome to today's practice. Sorry, I think the last video just cut off, so we're starting another one. So I hope you have found this one okay. As I said before, we're going to be using a block today. So grabbing anything if you don't have it already, book, tin, water bottle, whatever you might have. And just placing that to the side of your mat. And we're going to get started in a child's pose today. So big toes to touch, knees nice and wide, and bring your forehead down towards the mat. We'll just take a few moments here in stillness. And just start connecting to your breath. So in and out through the nose. If you need to take a couple of sighs, it's quite a nice way to start your practice. Just taking a deep breath in through the nose and then letting it go out of the mouth. You can take a couple of those just to allow yourself these moments to really relax down, stepping into this calming, flowing time that's just for you to be on your mat, nothing else to think about or worry about. Feel your stomach expand on the inhale, and then a sense of releasing, of letting go on the exhale. On your next inhale, come up to all fours, tabletop. So your hands are below your shoulders and your knees are hip width apart. And we'll take a few rounds of cat and cow here. So inhale, drop the stomach, arch the back, lift the gaze. Exhale as you tuck the tailbone around the spine, bring the chin towards the chest. Inhale as you arch, open up. And exhale as you round. Take a few more rounds like this to the speed of your own breath. And feel free to add in any other sort of twist or turn here. Just allowing your body to move completely freely, completely intuitively, starting to notice where there might be tension, where it feels good to get moving today. You might have, and place it on whichever width you like. So for me, I'm going to go for a narrow width, but if you want, you can go for something slightly thicker. And really think about squeezing the block. So notice those inner thighs start to light up. And then we're going to press back into a high plank. So taking the block with you, really think about squeezing the block, and feel free here to drop the knees and check if you prefer a different setting. So you might want to check if you like this slightly wider, and then maybe you prefer, like me, the slightly thinner end. And then let's really keep squeezing the block, but drop the knees. And let's bend the elbows nice and slowly, come all the way down onto the mat. Inhale as you open for a baby cobra, so just squeeze the shoulder blades together, keep the block, keep squeezing the block, and try and press the tops of the feet down, so you might not lift quite as high today. Push back through your knees, keep squeezing the block, and into your downward facing dog. So your downward will be a little bit different today, maybe your feet are slightly closer together, but keep squeezing the block, and as you squeeze the block, tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling, so you really lighten up the muscles in the legs. We're going to do that same thing again. Roll yourself forwards to a high plank, pausing here, squeeze the block. Drop your knees, untuck your toes, keep squeezing the block as you lower yourself slowly towards the mat. Peel your chest open for that baby cobra. Notice what's happening with the back. Is it a little bit more restrictive when you're squeezing the block? Push back through your knees. Downward facing dog. Really focusing today on squeezing the block. And attempting to keep the block in place. You can either walk taking tiny footsteps, or you can take a little jump to the top of your mat. And let's take a ragdoll. Keep squeezing the block, the book, whatever you have in between your legs. Let your head hang heavy. Release your hands. On an inhale, rise up to standing. Reach your arms up overhead. Keep squeezing the block. Notice the difference in sensation. We're just standing here, but it's quite an active pose when you squeeze the block. Bring your hands together at heart center. Let's go again. Inhale, reach up. Keep squeezing the block. Maybe gaze goes up. Exhale as you fold forwards. Inhale to a halfway lift. Hands come to shins. Crown of the head reaches forwards. Keep squeezing the block. Find length through the whole of the spine here. Step or jump back. So you might need to take little steps if you're not going for a jump. And this time you could either continue as we've been going or come for a full chaturanga by bending the elbows, keep the knees off the mat, upward facing dog, or you're in cobra but you're squeezing the block. Tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. Take a few deep breaths here. One more full breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, either tiny footsteps, or maybe you bend your knees and take a little jump to the top of your mat. Don't worry if you drop the block, just grab it and place it in between the legs again. Halfway lift, flat back. Fold. Inhale, rise up, reach your arms overhead. Exhale as you fold forwards, keep squeezing the block as hard as you can. Inhale to a halfway lift. Step or float back. So if you're stepping, it might be tiny footsteps. And you can either drop the knees or full chaturanga, bend through the elbows. Up dog or cobra, open the chest, squeeze the block. Downward facing dog. And even though we're really focusing on the block today, always in your down dog, check back in with all of your foundation. So notice what's happening with your hands. Press down with each fingertip, each knuckle pad. Big breath in. Exhale it all out, soften knees, gaze forwards. Keep squeezing the block as you jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold forwards. Root the feet down, rise up, reach tall. Exhale, hands together at heart center. Keep squeezing the block and bend the knees for your chair pose. So even if normally you have your feet touching in your chair pose, now that you've got that block, maybe you have a little gap between the feet. Squeeze the block and sit lower here. Find your Ujjayi breath. Fold. Inhale to a halfway lift. Step or float back, high to low plank. Up dog or cobra, open the chest. Downward facing dog. You can either let the block drop or just place it over to one side. We're going to take a little break, give those legs a little rest. Step your right foot forwards, warrior one. Press both feet down, inhale, rise tall. And notice how your feet, your legs, even your core is feeling. So as we squeeze into the block, we're really engaging the legs and the core. So now we're going to place the block to one side for a few moments. Notice how you can keep that same engagement going. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale, hands to mat, high to low plank, or dropping the knees. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step the left foot forwards, warrior one. Press both feet down. Inhale as you rise. Think about pressing both feet down and away from each other, as if you're trying to rip your yoga mat in two pieces. Full breath in. Exhale, high to low plank. Always the options to drop onto the knees. Up dog or cobra, open the chest. Downward facing dog. And even though now we don't have the block here in our down dog, notice how can you engage those same muscles. So maybe you imagine having a block there and you squeeze the legs towards each other without actually moving them. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale it all out, feet to hands. Walk, step or float forwards. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose, bend your knees, reach up. Again, notice how it feels now that the block's gone. And then see if you can find that squeeze, that engagement of legs squeezing towards each other. Fold. Inhale, halfway lift, keep squeezing the legs. Exhale, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step the right foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale to rise two. Exhale, straight back down, high to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step the left foot forwards, warrior one. Inhale, rise up two. Exhale, straight back down through your vinyasa. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here in your down dog. Roll yourself forwards to a high plank. Options here to drop onto the knees, or you can keep the knees lifted. But we're going to lower down towards the mat onto our tummies, keeping the elbows close to the body for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come to lie on your tummy, one cheek down, arms alongside your body. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And then interlace your fingers at your sacrum, big toes together to touch. Forehead to the mat, press the pelvis down, and then lift up, locust. Think about how long you can make your body here, as well as how high you're lifting. You squeeze the hands so much that they lift up off your seat bone. It's tempting to let them rest here, but really lift them up. And release, let go. Sway the hips from side to side. We're going to interlace the fingers again, but bend the knees as if you're going for a floor bow and the soles of the feet are reaching up towards the ceiling. Again, press the pelvis down and then lift up. So you're trying to lift the knees off the floor as well here. It might be quite a small movement, like you can see me, I don't lift up very much, but I have quite a strong sensation all the way along my hamstrings. See if you can lift a little bit higher. And release, let it go. Again, sway the hips. Take a sigh here if it feels good. We're going to take our block once more. So we're using our block quite a lot today. And you're going to place your block or your book or whatever it is in between the palms of your hands. So I'm not holding on with my fingertips, I'm just pressing the palms into each other. Reach the block in between the palms out in front of you. And you're going to press the pelvis down. So find that curl of the tailbone, that tuck of the tailbone. Core muscles engaged. You're going to press the pelvis so much down towards the floor. Squeeze the block as hard as you can and then lift up. Keep squeezing the block. Try not to hold on with your fingertips. You're just pressing in with the palms. And release, let go. Sway the hips from side to side. We're going to do that once more. And imagine as you're squeezing the block that you're trying to shrink the block. So you're using all your strength to squeeze the hands in towards each other. So let's set up. Arms are straight. Press the block or the book in between the hands. I bet you're regretting it if you've picked up a heavy book. Press the pelvis down towards the mat. Squeeze the core muscles in and then lift up. Squeeze the block. Remember to breathe. For another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And gently release, let go of the block. Sway the hips from side to side. Take a sigh if you need one. And then lift yourself back up to tabletop, all fours. Push back into a downward facing dog. Bring your feet to touch behind you and lift your right leg up. Imagine you're kicking into a wall behind you. So that right leg is really strong, really active. Hands are pressing down and forwards. Bend your knee, open up your hips. Keep the shoulders square to the front of the room. Opening that hip as much as you can here. Bring your knee to your nose, so spinning all the way around, shift the weight forwards. Gaze in between your hands and step your right foot in between your hands, as close to in between your hands as you can. Root both feet down, find a nice secure position here, and then rise up. If you want to deepen it, maybe you step your left foot a little bit further back here. Breathe. Open out to a warrior two. Straighten your front leg. Reach your fingertips forwards, come down into your triangle. You might want to use your block here again, or whatever you're using, underneath your right hand. For me, it really helps me get into this pose. Ujjayi breath. Think about that pulling of the pelvis in and out, pulling of the core muscles in and out, rolling the tailbone under. Press down with the outer edge of the back foot. Inhale your way back up to standing. Exhale into your warrior two. Inhale, warrior one, reach up. And then from your warrior one, just spin onto the board of that back foot so we're back in our crescent lunge. Start to lean your weight forwards. And as you do, let that back foot lift off the floor, warrior three. Reach the left heel towards the back wall. Breathe. From your warrior three, start to bend the left knee, to bend the right knee even. And we're going to come into eagle. Left leg over, left arm. Soft through the face, often we get quite serious when we start balancing. And then moving slowly, unravel back into your warrior three. From your warrior three, you're going to bend your front knee, your right knee, and place your left foot on the floor behind you. Goddess pose. So legs are open, nice and wide, toes are pointing out. And try not to have your knees knocking in, so it's quite easy to let the knees knock in. Maybe even guide them out a little bit with your hands. Try not to stick the bum out, the tailbone is tucked under, hands together at heart center. Breathe here. And as we inhale, we're going to straighten the legs, reach the arms up. Exhale, sink back into your goddess pose, come a little bit lower. Let's do that again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sink low into your goddess pose. Last one like this, pressing down with the outer edges of the feet. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sinking down. Breathe in. Bring your awareness to your front foot, your right foot. Spin it forwards. And we're going to lift back up into an aeroplane. Big breath in. Start to bend that right knee, step back, crescent lunge. And as you exhale, hands to mat, take a vinyasa, or step it straight into your downward facing dog, your choice. Let's take a big sigh in our downward facing dog, in through the nose. Feet together to touch. Lift the left leg up. Again, start by reaching the left heel backwards, really strong in that left leg. Keeping the arms, the shoulders exactly where they are. Bend your left knee, open up the hips. So really trying to keep this stretch quite local to the lower back, the hips. The leg, lift the left knee a little bit higher towards the ceiling. Then go ahead, bring your knee to your nose. Move slowly here. Gaze is in between the hands. Step your left foot in between your hands. Again, take a moment here. There's absolutely no rush. Once you feel nice and secure, lifting up to your crescent lunge. Breathe here. If you want to make it deeper, swivel that back foot a little bit further back. Warrior two. Open out. Straighten your front leg. Reach forwards and come down into your triangle pose. If your front hamstring feels quite tight here, feel free to have a little bend in that front knee. A little micro bend. So you don't need to go a big bend, just stopping it from being an overstretch. And then open the right arm up and maybe slightly backwards. You can choose if your gaze is down towards the floor or up towards your right hand. In and out through your nose. On an inhale, rise back up. Exhale, find your warrior two, bend the front knee. Inhale to your warrior one, reach up. And then spinning onto the ball of the back foot, you're back in your present lunge. You might have a little wobble, you might need to move the feet a little bit. Start to lean your way forwards as you lift that back foot. You're in your warrior three. Think about reaching the right heel backwards, that right leg is strong. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Eagle pose, wrap your right leg over your left. Right arm comes under the left. Trying to have your elbows up in line with your shoulders. So you're not crunching down, you're not folding forwards, you're really light and active in the upper body. Focus your gaze to one spot and try not to let your eyes move. Moving slowly, start to unravel your back in your warrior three. From here, we're going to transition into our goddess pose. You're going to be facing the right side of your... You're pressing down with the outer edges of the feet, hands together at heart center. Nice. Sit lower. Let's inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, sink low. Two more times. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sink a little bit lower. Last one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, really low into your goddess pose. Two more breaths. Can you sink your hips lower? And then bring your gaze towards your front foot. So it's going to be your left foot. I'm going to spin back round. And you're going to spin back into your warrior three. Any way you can. Reach fingertips back. Start to bend the left knee. Take a big inhale as you step back. Crescent lunge. As you exhale, hands to mat, take a vinyasa, or just step it straight into your downward facing dog. Take a couple of full body breaths. Soften knees, gaze forwards, either walk or lightly jump to your hands. And we're going to use our block again. I'm going to turn around. So we're still in our forward fold, but you're going to place your block in between your thighs. So stay folded forwards, but you've now got that same engagement of squeezing the thighs towards each other. From here, bend your knees for a chair pose. So nice and low in your chair. Squeeze the block as much as you can. Feel free to fiddle around with it if it isn't at quite the right spot. And then keep squeezing the block, come up onto your tippy toes. Keep breathing, keep squeezing the block. Staying on the tippy toes, start to bend the knees a little bit more. Find the lowest spot you can get to, keep squeezing the block, don't forget about the block. And then slowly start to lift back up. It's quite intense, keep breathing. Drop the heels, but keep the knees bent, keep squeezing the block. Hands together at heart center. Inhale to find length. Exhale, twist towards your right. Keep squeezing the block. Often one knee likes to shoot forwards in a twisted chair, so check down, but maybe by squeezing the block, it's going to help you keep the knees more level. Sink the hips lower. Inhale to a chair pose, keep squeezing the block. Breathe into that sensation. Hands together, inhale, find length. Exhale, twist towards the left. Now I'm sure all of you are feeling some heat building in the thighs. Stay with it, we're not going to be here for much longer. Sink the hips lower. Inhale to a chair pose. Exhale, folding forwards. Keep the block where it is, but let the whole of the upper body just relax. If it feels good to have a little bend in the knees, go ahead. You can come to ragdoll arms. You can just let your hands hang heavy. On an inhale, slowly roll yourself up to standing. Keep the block. And coming up to standing when you're ready. We're going to just take a few breaths in mountain pose, Tadasana, but keep the block. It's going to really help you understand the engagement that you should always have in your legs, especially in mountain pose and pretty much in any pose. So take a little look down at your feet and think about the four corners, the four outer corners of your feet. Press them down into the mat. Engage muscles in the legs, squeeze into the block. Hands alongside you, palms facing forward. Spread the fingers wide. Let the shoulder blades sink down the spine. Maybe close the eyes again. Can you lift the crown of the head a little bit higher? Come into your Ujjayi breath. Notice that actually standing here, squeezing the block, having all of that engagement going on is actually quite challenging. And we should have all these parts of our body connected like this through all of the poses. If the eyes are closed, open them back up and you can get rid of the block. We're going to use it again, but for now, just shake it out a little bit. We've used our legs pretty hard today. Step to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale to fold forwards. Inhale to a halfway lift, flat back. Step back to a high plank. Options to lower down, take chaturanga or push straight back into your downward facing dog. Soften knees, gaze forwards, either walk or lightly jump through to a seated position. So seat bones on the floor, feet are flat to the mat. And we're going to use the block again. We've got the blocks today, let's use them. Place it back in between your thighs. I'm going to take a boat pose. I think actually for me it works better now on a slightly wider level. Flex the toes back towards you, shoulder blades are relaxed. Fingertips is that same sense of engagement that we had in our Tadasana. So spread the fingers wide, shoulder blades sink down, core pulls in and up. Stay with me. Keep squeezing the block. Notice how that lights more things up, more muscles up, more heat starts building as you squeeze the block. And release, let go. You might want to sway the knees slightly from side to side. And we're going to slowly, or quickly, lower yourself onto your mat. Feet hip width apart. Make sure you can just brush your heels with your fingertips. And today, actually, you have the option, because you've got your blocks, you can take an assisted bridge if you want to just place that underneath your seat bones. Otherwise, lift up into your bridge pose. So if you want an assisted bridge, place whatever you're using on that flat part of the spine. And we're going to hold this one for about a minute, maybe a little bit longer. So if you're not going for an assisted bridge, feel free to take a break or take any leg variation that you might be working with. If you're ready for a full wheel, go ahead. But know that we're going to be here for a little bit longer than we might normally hold a wheel or a bridge. Wherever you are, whatever's going on for you, really, really use your breath here. Down, squeeze the thighs together. See if you can walk shoulder blades further towards each other. Really find an opening through the chest. Last few breaths in. If you're in an unassisted bridge, stay with it. We're not going to hold it for much longer. And we're going to release the pose, release the block if you have it. Slowly roll your spine along the mat. Bring the soles of your feet together to touch. Let your knees open wide. And reach your arms overhead so that your hands are on the floor behind your head. Enjoy the sensation of opening. We've done a lot of squeezing of the thighs towards each other. So just let yourself relax into this pose and really notice what's going on in your body right now. Notice your energy levels. Maybe there's fresh blood rushing through your veins, you're ready for more. Or maybe you feel actually you could just stay here for the rest of class. We've got a little bit more movement and then we will wind back down. So bring your knees together to touch, hug them in towards your chest, give yourself a little squeeze here. Last exercise with our block. You're going to take your block and you're going to place it in between your knees. So you're lifting your head and shoulders off the mat, in between your knees and your elbows. You can choose where you have your hands, either sort of by your ears, up above. You can even have them all the way around your neck, your choice. And the aim of this is to keep the block in the exact same place. So you're pressing the elbows into the knees. If this is a lot, just stay exactly where you are. If you would like more, straighten your left leg and then bring it back. Straighten the right leg and bring it back. We're going to do this for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2. Keep breathing. Last one, straighten the left leg. Lift it back in, release the pose. So you can see even my block was falling a little bit. If you've lost the block completely, don't worry, just bring it back in. We're going to do another 5 of these. So get yourself set up. Again, if the movement is too much, just stay lifted, pressing the elbows and thighs together. So lifting up, and we're going to go for 5, for 4, for 3, keep breathing for 2, last one, and release, let go of the block. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then grab the underneath of your thighs and take a rock and roll. If you have a shoot back in your practice, go ahead and shoot back through a vinyasa. I will demo one now if you aren't sure. If you've never tried one before, maybe give it a go, see what happens. If you want to try, you rock and roll, cross the ankles, place the hands to the mat, shoot back, and try and land into a low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Maybe you just did it for the first time, maybe you landed on your tummy. Either way, it's not too much of a big deal. You can try it again another time if it didn't quite work. Or maybe you achieved it for the first time ever and you're feeling pretty good right now. Whatever emotions are coming up, just see if you can let them go now. Feet to touch and lift your right leg up. Half pigeon on the right. Step your right foot towards your left wrist. Right knee comes down towards the right wrist, dropping onto that leg behind you. And get yourself set up here. If your right hip is really far off the floor, you have your block. By all means, place your block underneath your right hip. Otherwise, if you don't need it, maybe you fold forwards onto your forearms. Maybe you come all the way down onto your forehead. And even though we're going to hold this pose a little bit longer, getting deeper into the stretch, feel free to make any small adjustments that you need. So don't just listen to my voice. Allow your body to also guide you through the practice. If this pose isn't just not working for you today, find something that does work for you. If you find your mind wandering off to other things, other places, just guide it back to the present moment by focusing on your breath. Lift yourself back up onto your hands. Push back into a down dog and try and lift this right leg up and then swing it all the way back. Maybe you need to give it a little shake, a little stretch. And then we'll go on the other side. So lifting that left leg up. And we're not swinging it forwards. We're just moving slowly forwards to your half pigeon on the left. So aiming to have your shin as parallel to the top of the mat as you can. Most people can't get that parallel, so don't worry too much. And Maybe noticing how one side felt compared to the other. It's quite normal to have one feeling quite open and the other one feeling less so. Maybe taking a little bit of those hands. Often when we find tension in one area of our body, it starts spreading without us even noticing. Shift your weight onto your left hip and swing your right leg round so you're seated with both legs stretched out in front of you. Make sure you're right on your seat bone, so moving any fleshy bits that might be in the way. Flex the toes back towards you. Reach your arms up for length and then start to fold forward. So let the hands come to shins, ankles, soles of feet, wherever they comfortably reach. And then really think about leading with the chest here. So you're opening through the chest. The spine is as straight as it can possibly be. So you're not dumping your weight forwards. You're nice and open, lengthening, and don't worry where the hands are. Inhale back up to seated and make your way to lying on your back. We're going to take an inversion and I'm going to just talk you through a shoulder stand. So come to lying on your back and then kick your feet over your head to your cow pose. Hands come to your lower back and then straighten the legs up towards the ceiling. So you want to feel nice and secure here by really allowing the weight to be in the upper arms. Maybe having a little look up at your feet, at your toes. And trying to keep present here, not worrying about lunchtime, maybe looking up at your toes, thinking you might need a pedicure. Just let all of these other thoughts leave your mind. Just be here in the moment, in the sensations. We're going to release this pose now, so bend the knees down towards the forehead or the ears, pausing here. Maybe use your hands as brakes along the mat, but use your core to slowly, with as much control as you can, roll out of the pose. So no crash landings. Use those muscles to slowly roll out of the pose. And when you're ready, come to lying on your back. And hug your right knee in towards your chest, give it a squeeze. Let your right knee fall towards the left, supine twist. Right arm opens towards the right, gaze is also towards the right. Notice how your breath feels as you twist through the spine. Come back through center and we'll swap sides. So hugging that left knee in, maybe shifting the hips a little bit towards the left to deepen the twist. Let your left knee fall towards the right. Gaze and left arm open towards the left. Coming back to center. And hug both knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big squeeze. Forehead lifts towards the knees. Take an inhale through the nose. Exhale out through the mouth. Come to lying on your back for your final rest, Shavasana. Allow yourself to take up space. So open out the arms, open out the legs. Palms face the ceiling. If you can, close down the eyes. Start to deepen your breath. Bring some movement to your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms up overhead, take a full body stretch. Roll onto your right side into a fetal position. And then come up to a seated or a kneeling pose, hands together at heart center and your eyes closed. Lift your thumb knuckles up to your forehead center. And together we bow forwards and say, Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed class and using a block. Let me know any questions, any requests. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful Monday and a wonderful week.